Welcome back to Spitballin Cards. In today's episode, we have the National League preview. I will note we are recording this on Monday the 30th. This is coming out on Sunday, 6 days from now, the 5th of April. So there's a chance that some of this aged poorly, but just be aware, just because of when we recorded it. We have a very limited sample size. And so there's 3 or 4 games played, and there's going to be 3 or 4 more played since. So things can change pretty rapidly. But in this episode, you have everybody but Phil. And guys, we're going to discuss the National League. Last week with the American League, we went through every division, every team, and talked about which players on those teams we liked. We skipped a few players that people got really, really mad about. And I want to note, we did not prep. We just go talk about it. So we're just spitballing here. So don't get too mad if we forget your guy. It doesn't mean we hate him. So let's start out with the NL West. And I think we should start with the Dodgers just to get him out of the way. How does that sound? We all know that we like Ohtani, Mookie, Freeman. Anybody else we like outside of those three?
The GOAT, Andy Pages.
Andy Pages. I mean, Andy Pages actually had like 30 home runs last year. Even though he has the worst postseason performance of all time. Like
he'd be like at least the third best player on every other team, and everybody knows he's on the Dodgers.
Yeah, if you're in a 5x5 fantasy league and use average, he's got a lot of value. If you use OBP, he loses some value. But
wow, yeah, 313 OBP and a 272 batting average. You're right, Chris.
And he was really good for a while and then slowed down considerably.
Yeah.
Ran out of gas.
But yeah.
Will Smith is off to a great start. Again, he just, I don't know. He's the moment's never too big for him on his bobblehead night. He hits a game-winning home run.
WBC was too big for him.
Ooh.
Yeah, I just don't know if he's really going to be collectible because he just doesn't play all the time. We'll see.
And because his name is Will Smith.
He also doesn't show any emotion typically. He did in the World Series, but typically he
still looks like a kid, and he's been in the league for forever. He just looks like a kid. His name's Will Smith.
No, he's a great player and fun to watch. Yeah.
It is. Good. It's Monday, like Scott said. Tonight, I believe Roki Sasaki is pitching. And he looked absolutely awful in spring training.
Everyone against him.
Yeah, seriously. So I am very curious how that's going to go. I think based on spring, I was shocked he made the roster.
Me too.
But he's definitely someone on the team. I mean, we know everyone else on the team, but he is one of the unknowns, and I am very curious how he's going to perform.
Yeah, good point. Especially from a guy whose cards were a lot of money when he first came over. There's people with a lot of money invested in Sasaki cards.
People are still heavily investing this spring after his really great performance last year in the postseason. Like he looked like he figured it out, but the guy just can't find the strike zone. It looks like the yips a little bit. Maybe the Dodgers are just saying, you'll figure it out. We're good enough. We don't care if you lose a game. Just go out there and pitch.
And he was great in relief, right? We'll see if he can get that magic back as a starter because that's really where the money is in the hobby for sure.
But he threw 30 pitches and didn't record a single out, I think, his first game. Then he was pulled out and then put back in and was just as bad in the second inning because you can do that in spring training. Sure. So I, too, was surprised he was on the roster for tonight. Okay, can I ask you a question about Will Smith?
Sure.
Any chance of the Hall of Fame?
Sure. I mean, if Sal Perez gets in,
yeah, I think standards for catchers have changed and are changing. He's going to have a whole lot of hardware, especially team hardware, on his mantle when he's done. So, yeah, there's a chance.
3 World Series. He was probably actually hit the game-winning a home run in Game 7. He has 22.6 WAR on both Baseball Reference and Fangraphs, which is pretty good for a catcher. Only 31, 130 home runs, could get to 250 maybe. I don't know. There's a path, maybe.
Yeah. He's Dodger legend. I mean, for sure, he'll get as long as he stays, they'll retire his number, and he'll be known there forever.
I want to look at something about him. Let's do a little exercise. I know we all love a good versus finder.
And they save him. I mean, he caught the most World Series innings of all time, played a lot in the postseason, kept him fresh by keep giving him a lot of off days during the regular season. So his counting stats, he's never going to really measure up to some of the guys who play 155, 160 games.
Yeah, because he obviously can't DH. The rate stats are always going to be good.
So that's these 3 guys through their age 31 season. I didn't put Buster on here. I guess that might have been relevant just in terms of.
The big thing is Yachty and Joe Mauer debuted at age 21. Will Smith was at age 24, and Will Smith had the COVID season, so that hurts. But
Yep.
Yeah, he's played about just over half the games of Molina, same age. So there's always a path, and maybe because he got a late start and hasn't played that many games, his legs are fresh. Maybe he'll be able to catch effectively for another 5-6 years.
Yeah, man.
We'll see. Doesn't.
Yeah,
I wouldn't bank on it right now.
I mean, if Shohei Ohtani stops pitching, like heaven forbid he has another injury to his arm, he'll probably move to the outfield. Maybe they'll give Will Smith the path to DH. Who knows? Okay, we didn't talk about Kyle Tucker. I don't think any of us are too excited about Kyle Tucker, which is crazy because he's really good. Do any of you want his cards right now?
Nope.
No.
Maybe that's a good sign to buy his cards then, if none of us want them because, you know, I don't know.
Fantasy stalwart. He was ignored for so long, wasn't the main guy, and now he's certainly not the main guy.
And to have gone from the Astros to the Dodgers, like where there's contention, like, you know, I mean, obviously with the Cubs, but like that's, I think that even puts a sour taste in Astros fans' mouths. I don't know.
Even if it, like, let's say hypothetically the Astros fans still like him. He went from the Astros to the Cubs to the Dodgers. Astros and Dodgers aren't loved by really anybody as teams because everybody kind of hates the Dodgers right now. I don't think that benefits him at all outside of Dodgers fans. So
there's a lot of Dodgers fans.
Yeah, even if they win the World Series, it's not like he's just going to be viewed as right or wrong as someone who just, you know, joined the team that was already winning.
Like he's a Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the Dodgers. Let's jump over to the Colorado Rockies.
Yeah.
Who gets you guys hot and bothered on the Rockies? Anybody?
Ooh.
Charlie Condon.
Yeah.
Am I saying that right?
Condon's right.
He looked awesome in spring training. Hopefully they let him play sometime in May. They let him come up and just see what he can do.
Mm-hmm.
He was pretty great in college.
Oh, yeah. He was amazing when he played for Georgia. And he had a tough first year in the minors, but he figured it out. He had some injury stuff, but he did look good. I think he's going to be the real deal. I hope they bring him up, but like maybe the thought process is what's the point? We don't want to lose any time of him with how bad our roster is. They're 0-3. They got swept by the Marlins. So
let's just keep going.
I like Tovar. Tovar's still good, but he's never taken that next step that we needed him to take, which is hard.
No, we took one backwards last year, but that's not the one we wanted to take.
Tovar should be on the Marlins.
Hunter Goodman's awesome, but catchers aren't super collectible, and it's Hunter Goodman. Anybody else you want to talk about in the Rockies?
What happened to the young guy who got called up last year, the pitcher?
Riley, what's his name?
No.
Pint?
Not Riley Pint. What's his name?
Not Riley.
Starts with the D, his last name.
Yeah,
Dollander.
Chase
Dollander, yeah.
DeLorean.
He sucked because he plays for the Rockies in Coors.
Yeah.
And they don't know how to pitch. But they did get the Moneyball manager, Moneyball GM in there, so maybe he can fix him up and see what happens. But that guy did trade for Deshaun Watson, so it doesn't give me much hope.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to the next team, the Diamondbacks.
They are going to lose to the Tigers tonight.
Okay.
One guy I wanted in fantasy this year and didn't get him. I got sniped. Was Jordan Lawler, who had a lot of hype on him like last year, I think, and didn't really perform. But now he's playing third base. He has the job. Looked pretty good in spring training. So I'm intrigued by how he can do. Do I have any of his cards? No.
He's not playing third base.
I think he's playing third base.
Arenado's playing.
He's playing left field, I think.
Oh, is he left field?
I think he's playing left field.
Okay, yeah, maybe he's in left field.
They have him at shortstop, but Perdomo's there. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, he qualifies at short for fantasy, but Perdomo's there. But yeah, I think he has a full-time job. I thought it was third base, but yeah, you're right. It's left field.
It is left field? Okay, I'm not crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, because honestly, Arenado's looked horrendous at the plate. If you guys watched him.
He's 1 of 11. He had a really, really nice play defensively. But
yeah, he did he looks great defensively still. Yeah. But offensively, he's got to figure it out, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like him too. Keep talking about him.
That's all I got.
Okay, cool. I know a lot of people are high on him. He's never really been given a chance. He's kind of like we talked about Jordan Walker earlier this week, how the teams kept not really giving him an opportunity. It's kind of felt that way with Lawler as well, because the Diamondbacks been in a weird place of contentions. They don't want to really give a lot of time to young guys and give that opportunity. But this is the year for him, so it is exciting. How old is Jordan Lawler?
I would guess he's like 24, but that is, like I said, I guess. Jeff probably knows his birthday.
No,
He's
but
23.
23, so he's still young enough.
Even younger.
He's still young enough. Okay. Jordan Lawler, good one. Obviously, Corbin Carroll's great, right? What do you think of Corbin Carroll, Jeff?
I like him. I want to see him stay healthy. I'm glad he's back from that hamate bone injury. I don't know. He's gotten off to a slow start, just like the majority of the guys that we've talked about. To be honest, I've never had any of his cards, so I've never really been that interested. I'm more interested in Perdomo after finishing in the top 5 MVP last year, starting out okay. Is he going to get any hobby love, any hobby respect, or is
no player in baseball flew more under the radar than him last year? I don't think. I think he was number one, like most just completely ignored. I bet if you walked up and said to people, like, where did Perdomo finish in the MVP voting last year? More people would say he didn't than like 5. They don't even realize he had a very good year, and he's off to a good start so far.
And he's only 26. Maybe he and Carroll can form a dynamic duo for the next decade in the desert.
Tell Marte.
Marte?
Threesome right there. Or trio, we should say.
Jordan Lawler?
Yeah.
He's young.
Make that a quartet.
Yeah.
I'm old enough to remember when Phil was buying too many Moreno cards.
Yeah.
Do you guys want to guess where Jordan Lawler ranked in WAR in the National League in 2025 last year?
Last.
Did he play enough?
The fact that you're asking
Jordan Lawler. Sorry, I meant Geraldo Perdomo. Forgive me.
I was like, what?
Oh, like top 4.
Yeah,
Okay.
2. I'd say
Yeah, he had a really high.
might have had the highest position player.
Yep. Good job, Jeff. You know your stuff. Highest position player WAR in baseball. He has black on his baseball reference page for WAR, which is pretty cool.
Nice. I also think Eduardo Rodriguez is throwing harder now than he has in the last 2 years. He looked amazing
Inspired.
in the WBC. So
Yeah.
I'm not buying his cards, but just throw them on your watch list in fantasy. And
it was so cool to see him pitch well in the WBC because it's a good game. Like, of course, I wanted USA to win, but good for him. Like, he was throwing 98. I don't care if I get hurt. I want to win this for my team. Like, that was awesome.
As a Tigers fan, I don't wish him any success after coming and doing a whole lot of nothing for us.
that's fair. That's totally fair.
That is fair. Let me look at the Diamondbacks roster.
He actually had a good second season with us, but anyway, go ahead.
Anybody else? Carlos Santana. He's pretty cool, but he doesn't have much value right now in his old age. I think that's it. Let's jump over to the Padres. Who do you guys like?
The Padres are a very much like a stars and scrubs type of alignment. I will say that if
Cronenworth.
there you go. If Manny Machado hits 31 home runs this year, he will be at 400 for his career, which is a very sneaky high number for him. But yeah, that team just needs to get out of the first round of the playoffs. But outside of and I know you like Tatis this year, don't you, Scott?
I've always liked Tatis. I think he's great. It's just I don't know what's going to happen with his cards because of the steroid suspension and the fact he hasn't been as good offensively post-suspension is worrisome. If he's able to be the same guy before and after, I think it'd be a different conversation. You can make the argument he was really good then because of the juiced balls. But I mean, it's not just the juiced balls. He was doing everything better then, and he led the league in home runs. Like, he was really good. And then after that, he's been a good hitter, but not like MVP hitter. But I still think he has that in his bag. He just got to get there. So
yeah, I want to see him healthy for 150 games. I want to see Merrill healthy for 150 games. Ty, on a scale of 1 to 10, how mad were you when he pulled that McGonigal home run back? That was a great play.
8.6.
Yeah.
I was not happy.
Right.
And having sold 2 McGonigal cards over the weekend, I may have gotten more for them if he hadn't done that. So he ran in from the outfield going, and I was like, get off of your high horse. Yeah. Anyway.
He's a great defender. I watched him. I went to one game in Petco, and he made some great plays. So
he's good.
He's so good. Do you guys think? Okay, so we have him. Do we think that he could be like a MVP candidate in the next few years?
No.
Otani makes it difficult, but do you think he has?
Sure, but I don't think so.
Okay.
I would think that he'd be my third pick on that team to be an MVP candidate behind the 2 guys, Tatis and Machado.
Oh, and Mason Miller and Nick Pivetta. Come on,
Nick Castellanos.
Right. They don't get a lot of MVP consideration, but Mason Miller dominant. Mason Miller might follow the Kenley Jansen path to the Hall of Fame.
He could. I mean, he could. Kenley's been doing
he's
it for a
really
long
good
time.
pitcher.
You guys remember when Xander Bogaerts was good before?
Yeah, Xander Bogaerts is a tough one.
It's becoming more of a distant memory. I remember where I was when that contract was announced. I think Jeff and I were warming up for a softball game, and we're like, that's going to sink the Padre franchise. Like, that will destroy them at some point.
And it
So
kind of has.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of has sunk.
I will say I watched those games against the Tigers, and he did have some pop in his bat. He's 3 for 12. He had a double. He almost hit a home run. He was right at the wall. He had some pop. We'll see.
Still not worth that contract.
Yeah, it just doesn't make any. No team was within $100 million of that offer. It's just absurd.
I do like Machado as well as like a long-term buy. He's very good at baseball. He's aged well, which is nice. Let's jump to the Giants. There's actually a lot going on at the Giants in regards to players to look at. Is there? I mean, you have Devers. Is there a lot to look at the Giants? I like Chapman. Those two guys are very intriguing to me. Anybody else actually?
From a card standpoint, I think we're all waiting for Eldridge to get the call, right? I think he's probably the most intriguing card situation for that team.
I mean, people still talk about Luis Rise all the time.
They do talk about Luis Rise.
He's just polarizing. Like, is he actually valuable? Like, yeah, he doesn't strike out, but like, he can't play defense. He has no power. Like, I can see both sides of it. Yeah, I know Padres fans
low OPS plus.
He had those two home runs in the WBC, and the exit velo was like 94 and 96.7. I was like, don't get excited. I could hear Bill in my head going, this guy can't hit a card. Get the ball out of here.
You have Willie Adames. You like him still, Jeff, or are you not a fan anymore?
I still like him as a person. I think he's a great teammate. He's a great guy. His skill set probably diminishing a little bit. I think the Brewers picked a good time to part with him, but from a card standpoint, I think he's a non-factor. What about Logan Webb? He's another guy who got lit up in his first.
He did get lit up. Not even by the players you'd expect. Judge struck out 3 times against Webb.
Yeah.
My biggest beef with Webb from a card perspective is he has a PED suspension under his belt, so he'll never ever get the value he should.
I forgot. I had no real interest in his cards, and I forgot about that. So now I have even less. He has one card with his dog that I like, a golden mirror from 2024, I think. Outside of that,
he's had a good career looking at it. If we talk about like looking at pitchers in a different lens, he has 21.5 WAR, and he has 1, 2, 3, 4 seasons in a row with Cy Young vote finishes. So like that's pretty good. But
when was his PED suspension? Was it before he got to the majors?
I think so. I think it was when he was getting into out of the minor leagues into the big leagues. He got hit.
Yeah, that'll definitely put a ceiling on his card values.
Yeah, it's like Nelson Cruz. Nelson Cruz got one early in his career, and even though he had the great story of him being good into his old age, it's like, well, he still has that PED suspension. Yeah. And maybe that shouldn't matter, but it does.
It should matter less for him because that was back when still a lot of people were doing it. Now, if you get caught, it's pretty dumb.
Yeah.
We still like Devers, but I don't think there's really much more that needs to be said at this point.
How do you think? So you've watched Devers more than anybody else in the world, Chris.
In the world? That's pretty.
You probably have one of the best Devers collections in the world. I feel confident.
I'm not even close. Like, you forget these the Red Sox fan base. Like,
I assume that they all liquidated, but let's just say with Devers, do you think that he could become an offensive threat still in San Francisco? Does it play well to his game, or is it not good for his game?
It plays horrible for everyone's game, but he'll be a threat there. He's a threat everywhere.
Okay.
Like, he can hit the ball the other way. He learned to do that. If the one thing that benefits him, right field at Fenway also sucks. So right field at where he is, AT&T.
Sell.
So yeah, but he just needs to. He can go the other way. I think he'll be fine. I mean, it's just too bad that he left, or that he was dumped by a bigger, sports card market or bigger metropolitan area.
Yeah, Giants fans are loyal though. They love their guys. So if he has success there, it's a good thing. Okay, we're only one division in, so let's move. Let's go to the Central. Let's start with the Reds. The Reds have some good players. We talked about Sal Stewart. Yep. We have Ellie De La Cruz. We have a couple other guys. Anybody else that you guys like besides those two, or just focus on those guys?
I like Hunter Green a lot, but we're not going to see him for a couple of months. He is still very young. He throws extremely hard. Last year, he figured a lot of stuff out. It's a huge. If they can tread water, or maybe just stay over 500 till he comes back, It's like picking up an ace at the All-Star break.
Totally. That's a great point.
I think just his injury history has really hampered his card prospects. So from a hobby standpoint, it's going to be a little tough for him to get any momentum.
If you guys aren't familiar with Hunter Green watching this, 2 years ago in 2024, he had 6 WAR with a 2.75 ERA and had Cy Young votes, top 10 Cy Young vote getter. He was as good this last year, had 4.3 WAR and pitched 19 games before getting injured. And so he didn't pitch a full season. But when he pitches, he's really good. Unfortunately, he has had injury issues. So
yeah, we all like Sal Stewart, like Scott said. We just talked about a couple days ago in our video. We all really like him. Great hit tool and very limited rookie card so far.
Here's a guy that you might be able to snag on a good price, honestly, is Ellie. Ellie's starting to like he I know Jeff does not like Ellie, and that's fine.
Well, is he going to take the next step? He when he plays the Brewers, he's dominant. If he played the Brewers every game, he'd be MVP 3 times over. But I think, again, he's already got 7 Ks. He had a really rough second half last year.
He was injured. He had a hip injury the whole second half. He should have been on the IL, but played through it. That's why his stolen bases stopped. He still had 37 stolen bases and 22 home runs. Still there. It's just he doesn't get that next step. He has the potential to be an MVP player, but he's got to do it before you can give him the value of an MVP player.
Yeah.
So, but his cards could start to get cheaper. He's been an all-star 2 years in a row. He's got MVP votes 2 years in a row. So he has that potential.
And
I like Matt McClain. Matt McClain's awesome.
Matt McClain was good a few years ago. Yeah,
he hurt his shoulder, unfortunately. Yep. There's some other sleepers on that Reds roster. But let's jump over to the Brewers. Jeff, you know the Brewers. Tell us about them.
Well, my guy, Jackson Churio, is hurt unceremoniously on opening day. They announced he had a fractured hand that he played through the WBC with, which is frustrating as a fan of the team, but he got his championship. I think his cards are a little too high for me now, but who knows? Maybe we'll get that MVP season. We are hoping for that this year, but again, like last year, it's going to be cut short. He's going to maybe play 130, 135 games. So that'll put a damper on his ability to turn heads card-wise. I'll be interested to see what happens with Mizrowski. Now he's going to get his first season. He was already all-star controversially last year, but now he's got a lot of cards out there and more coming out. We'll see if he can gain any ground, both with 2 strikes against him, both being a Brewer and a pitcher. But and then my other interest, of course, personal interest, is Yelich, to see if he can put it together. Talked a lot about him in recent days on here and the other channel, just because he's off to a good start. He looks to be healthy. Still outside chance at a Hall of Fame trajectory if he can have a good mid to late 30s. So those are the guys I'm mainly looking at. They've got a huge stocked farm system. Jesus Made, Pena, Cooper Pratt sounds like he just is going to sign, or by the time this is out, he's already signed a long-term deal with the Brewers. So the future's bright for the Brew Crew. I'm not into prospecting much, but there is something there if you are.
Okay. Anybody else in the Brewers want to talk about?
Terrain's been good. Jeff, you said something that is, I think we talked about this when I hopped on your stream last week with Blabin, which is like sometimes when you have these players you really like on your favorite team, but then their prices of their cars just get so hot and inflated. Whether it's like I did with just a couple of, like, they weren't crazy cards, but of McGonigal selling this weekend, or sitting there going like, do I really buy at this price point? You'd almost rather, I think a lot of us would rather wait, not overpay, and have the potential disappointment of the price collapse. And then the ideal scenario, it sounds, for financially sounds kind of crazy. It's like they actually do wind up really good. Their prices go up even more. And then you gladly pay the inflated price when you have more confidence that they're actually good, that you're not going to get totally smoked, on it eventually. So I just think that's interesting. Maybe that would resonate with a lot of people watching. Is obviously your hobby budget comes into play, but like no matter what price point, I always hate that idea. It does kind of stink because McGonigal's so expensive right now. Like it wouldn't make sense for me to be buying his cards. So I'll just, rep all kinds of Tigers gear and feel emotionally connected that way.
Right. And then you feel like as a fan, if you don't have his cards, but he's successful, you get the benefit. You reap the benefit of your fandom and your team doing well. And like you said, then you're willing to pay that higher price. That's why I got out of prospecting. It's just too high of a level of disappointment, especially at the high prices that most prospects are.
What about this guy?
Love him. Talking about taking the next step. His August and September last year were incredible. He had 10 home runs in a month, and he's never been a power hitter. He's showing that he's a former Platinum Glove winner, which doesn't move the market much in the hobby, but bats do. So yeah, it'd be fun if he took the next step. Good point.
For Spotify listeners, that was Bryce Terang. I pulled up the stats compared to Utley and Pedroia after their first 3 seasons. He's good.
Terang was awesome in the WBC too. He really showed out well. The WBC is great about getting you more aware to the public, which is really nice about it.
Yes.
Terang's young, right? He's only like 25.
Yeah,
26 now.
Yeah, just 26 season.
Yeah. Yep.
Cool. So after the Brewers, we have the Cubs. Ty, who do you like on the Cubs?
I love PCA. I think he's going to have a big bounce back season. He's just too athletically freakish. He's so talented in the outfield. So if I had to pick one player, and maybe only one on the Cubs, that would be it.
Yeah, there was a report just came out. I saw on Instagram that his bat speed is up almost 3 miles per hour over last season.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So he's made some adjustments, and yeah, if we could see, like, he doesn't have to be as great as he was in those first 2 months, but he just can't be nearly as bad as he was.
Exactly.
He was a liability.
A tale of two halves.
That's the only thing up so far, but
that's funny.
Yeah.
And a fielding run value, again, as we talked about with Terang, that doesn't do you a lot in the hobby, but it does make you a fun player to watch. And fans do like seeing that effort out of players. So that can be an intangible that helps their hobby value.
Another player, Matt Shaw, interesting player. He's young still. He was a top prospect and had rookie cards last year, I believe. I know he didn't have as good a year as people hoped last year, but he has all the potential in the world, and he's still 24 this year. He had 3 WAR last year, league average hitter with 13 home runs, good defender. Matt Shaw has that potential. We'll see if he can find it.
Cade Horton's the other guy.
Sure. Has he pitched that this year?
Yeah, he did.
How'd he do?
2.84 ERA, 4 strikeouts. What do you get? 6 innings?
He looks good.
Yep.
He's only 24.
Yep.
And then Bregman, you got to remember Bregman. He's a potential Hall of Fame guy, you could argue. I mean, it's very long shot. When I say potential, I mean like if he has 3 more good years, you could argue it. But he's getting older. How old is he now? 34? 33?
I think 32, but he's on his 3rd team.
43 WAR through his age 31 season. And he has that potential. 132 OPS plus for his career. I don't know. I don't think any of us are too thrilled about Bregman. So it would have been really sad if he did beat Mike Trout back in 2019, because that was right before, like the week after the MVP was announced is when all of the Astros cheating stuff came out. So I can only imagine how mad people would have been as Mike Trout fanatics online. So, but he didn't. He's a good player. But I don't know. Maybe Cubs fans will love him. The silence from you 3 is making me not feel confident.
Chris's favorite, Michael Conforto, is now on the Cubs. So maybe Chris is going to pick up some more after his Dodgers appearance.
Get that World Series ring, right? Okay. All right. Who's next? Who's after the Cubs?
Cubs. We have in the NL, we have the Pirates in that division, right? Is that the Central? Yep. We have the Pirates. The Pirates are intriguing. I mean, Paul Skeens, he's horrible now. One of the worst pitchers in baseball this year. Statistically, and you can't argue with statistics.
Washed. Done.
Terrible player. But Paul Skeens, you can't go wrong with Paul Skeens. Any other players besides him on the Pirates that you like?
I think we're all playing the waiting game on Griffin now. And how cheap do the Pirates look? It's just such a bad look. It's such a bad look. With the Tigers and the Cardinals putting their shortstops like on the roster, and for the Pirates not to do it, it just makes them look like the shitty organization that they pretty much are.
To be fair with the Pirates, he did have a really bad second half of spring training. He's hitting like less than 200 for spring training. So you could say he wasn't ready. He only got to Double-A last year. Like, you could, not trying to defend an organization here, but just to play.
Sounds like
I agree. He should have broke camp with the Pirates just for like fans' sake and to get people in the seats, and all of that would have helped. So.
It's funny because you think of an organization like that as a team that should be trotting young guys out. I think they only have one lineup regular under 27.
Really?
Cruz is now 27. And that might be Henry Davis at 26. So it's like they have some kind of failed-ish former prospects. You just think that should be a team that has a whole lineup of 24 and 25-year-olds just to see what people can do. And instead, you look at it and you get Marcell Ozuna and some of these other guys that may seem on the end of their career. I just don't know what direction that organization is heading.
Yeah. Don't the Pirates have some other good prospects aside from what's his name? Holy cow.
Yeah, Bubba Chandler was due. Bubba Chandler's in the rotation. Jared Jones should be back around the All-Star break in his recovery from Tommy John.
Yep.
It's a nice little trio they could have at the front of their rotation.
Seth Hernandez
is the guy I was thinking of.
Yep.
And they have Edward Florentino, who's a top 50 prospect as well in low A, but that's still they have a good little minor league system. Hunter Barco, another left-handed pitcher. He was 93rd, so they have quite a few top 100 prospects.
Yeah.
Which maybe means they could make a move. Like the low A guy who's a top 50 prospect. That's
maybe means they could trade all those players away for more prospects. And
they did it for Chris Archer. Remember that trade? That worked out good for them.
Yeah, they could be like the Brewers and go for 23rd.
You know?
Yep. Yeah. And El Central in 2030 is going to be.
I did want to let you guys know that Skeens is averaging 13 and a half strikeouts per 9
this year. All right, he's back. He's fine.
He's fine. One stat is going.
There's one guy on the Pirates that you guys are sleeping on. It's Marcell Ozuna from the Braves.
Oh yeah, I mentioned him. 35.
I'm already gonna go to sleep right now.
Okay, ready for the next division?
Yeah.
Oh, Cardinals. Goodness gracious.
And the Cardinals.
Yeah, we mentioned Weatherholt in our last video. I think we mentioned Jordan Walker as well.
That's why I thought we talked about him.
But there's some people who didn't watch that episode. They should watch that episode.
The JC.
So Weatherholt, we like Weatherholt. He's looked really good. We like Walker. Brendan Donovan got traded to the Mariners, and he's been really good for the Mariners so far. Their best player. Alec Burleson, someone who you don't want to collect cards of, but he's really good. He's just kind of like that weird guy. He doesn't have value. But good players in the Cardinals.
Yeah, they're in a rare rebuild. Like they have been competitive for almost like 20 straight years, and they're finally they basically forced to rebuild.
Yeah, Burleson looks like the guy from the You Betcha videos on YouTube.
Yeah, he kind of does, Ty.
You know what I'm talking about?
Mason Wynn, really good player.
Really good statement.
He's a really good player. Let's pull up his stats. Let's look at metrics.
I don't think we need to look at Mason Wynn's metrics. I think we can move on. I don't think anyone is.
I think we've been talking long enough
right now.
Let's keep on rolling.
Let's just keep right on rolling into the East.
Mason Wynn last
Cardinal
year.
fans are in the comments right now.
Mason Wynn.
You guys don't know about Chris Roycroft.
He took a step back last year. All right, let's go to the East, and we'll start with
a tie.
We'll start with the Phillies. Chris, who do you like on the Phillies as a baseball card investment?
Who do I like on the Phillies as a baseball card investment? I think their best player this year. Well, he was their best player last year. He'll be their best player this year. It's Christopher Sanchez. If you guys have not had a chance to watch a game that he pitches, it's exciting. It's almost like watching Tom Glavine if Tom Glavine could throw 8 miles an hour harder. This guy is tall. His fastball changeup look exactly the same until they're like 56 feet away from the mound. And then it's either by you or you're swung and missed at it. It's not there yet. He is incredible. He was, I believe, Jeff, was he the NL WAR leader last year?
Yes.
I think so too. He just eats innings.
Yeah.
And I think that team is normally in the past. I think we thought of them as a big offensive juggernaut, but really they're a pitching juggernaut more than anything else.
Especially if they have Wheeler, they would be dominant if they still have.
I think this is the first time on the internet that anyone has ever compared a 6'6" Latino guy to Tom Glavine.
Probably.
Hey, look, I was due a hot take, Ty. So let me throw that one out there.
I can't even see the difference.
You squint really hard. But yeah, if you get a chance to watch that guy throw a game, please do. He is fantastic, and he's young, but he also shut the Dodgers down in the playoffs last year. So he is for real. If you don't have him on your fantasy team, you've missed the boat. It's too late. But
I almost took him.
As a Braves fan, I hate the Phillies. I hate the fact that I know we won't beat them. I should say.
So how many future Hall of Famers are on this team? We have one definitive player, I'd argue, Bryce Harper.
Yep.
Trey Turner's borderline, 47.5 WAR through his age 32 season. As a shortstop, had his best year defensively of his career and is still the fastest player in baseball last year. He could age really well, which we never thought we'd say. He also is on pace to be the second member of the 200 home run, 400 stolen base club for a shortstop all time. So, like, I don't know. He could be. Kyle Schwarber's path is 500 home runs, so there could be maybe three future Hall of Famers. You could argue Zach Wheeler, he comes back and pitches well. People always point at Aaron Nola. I don't see it. Maybe you guys, I don't see it at all, personally.
No, I would take Sanchez 4 years younger than the Aaron Nola.
Yeah, me too.
What if Schwarber hits 450, but he retires as the major league postseason home run leader?
Nope. I don't think he gets in.
I don't think he gets in either.
Look at Adam Dunn, who had 462 and
Adam Dunn didn't have like a heroic postseason for the Cubs.
I know, but I don't think that matters as much to Hall of Fame voters as it should. Personally.
Just to point out on Sanchez, by the way, so here's Sanchez last year. I didn't throw Crochet on here, but at least in my fantasy league, Scooble went 7th, Skeens went 9th, and he went 23rd.
Wow.
You're like value. I took Cal Raleigh right before him. I was looking at Sanchez going, which direction do I go?
I think we're all expecting a big year out of Harper, just because he got called out by his GM, which is fun. A GM who will also be in the Hall of Fame at some point, so if you want to count that one.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Harper so far this year's not looked good, but it's not a big deal. It's been 3 games. And he always had slow first halves, it feels like.
Yes, he usually starts. Actually, he starts off hot, disappears for a couple of months, and then comes back.
Right. By August, has a huge month.
He had the biggest moment of, probably of the year so far. I mean, his moment in the World Baseball Classic was a big deal. Obviously, they lost, so it's not as big as it could have been. But he has a lot of big moments to his name, doesn't he?
Yep.
All right. Next up, in that division, we have the Atlanta Braves. So there's quite a few good Braves players. I know we're all high on Acuna. Why do you like Acuna, Chris?
Well, that's just a ridiculous question, Scott. Why would anyone not like Acuna? Other than the fact that, he can't stay on the field. I don't know. This is a make or break year for him. Hopefully he makes it. I thought Spitballin had a great future. I said so on this show. What I liked about Spitballin is he doesn't have a lot of mileage on his arm. He was literally injured in his next start and has not thrown since. One of those people who discovers loose bodies in their elbow when they arrive at spring training, which I just don't understand why things aren't taken care of in the offseason.
Mm-hmm.
They have a lot of young, really like high potential guys, but if I'm spending money on their cards, I'm looking at Acuna, possibly Matt Olson. And I think, honestly, that's it. I just don't see anyone else that I would be really comfortable putting a lot of money into. I love Michael Harris and I love Ozzie Albies, but I don't want to own a lot of high value cards of theirs.
Mm-hmm. Drake Baldwin.
Future Hall of Famer Chris Sale.
Future Hall of Famer Chris Sale? Yeah, there's probably some value there.
I love Chris Sale.
I love Drake Baldwin, Ty, but your point before about I'm going to wait. I will for sure own some Drake Baldwin cards, but it won't be for a while.
Some Didier Fuentes.
Drake Baldwin could be the real deal, obviously. So what's going to happen to him when Sean Murphy comes back? Is he going to go back to DH? Is that the plan for Drake Baldwin?
I would guess that they alternate. That's what they were doing last year. They would alternate.
Okay.
It's lefties, like he may rest some. But I'm guessing he'll get plenty of at-bats, though, because they don't have a full-time DH.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I got to say, I'm rooting for the Braves this year. I want to see Acuna do well. I bought an Acuna card this offseason, and I want Chris Sale to do well because I like him a lot. So those are the Braves. I'm going to pull up their roster, make sure I'm not forgetting anybody.
You're not.
Unless we all want to talk about Spencer Strider, and I do not.
No,
so let's move on to the Mets.
They have Mike Yastrzemski. If having a Hall of Fame grandfather was a big deal, he'd be number 1 in baseball. But it's not. Okay, next up, let's go to the Mets. The Mets have a lot of exciting talent. Who do you like on the Mets, Jeff?
Juan Soto.
Want to elaborate?
For the 4th year in a row, I'm picking him to win the MVP in a non-Ohtani. Can't go with the Ohtani favorite, but I think Soto is really going to benefit from the ABS. He's got such a good eye. He's just entering his hitter's prime. and he knows the strike zone better than anybody else. He showed he could run on the bases last year. From what I understand, their base running guru is gone that he worked with to the Braves. Oh, great. So we're going to see Matt Olson steal 35 bases, maybe a 40-40 season on Matt Olson. But I think at least Juan Soto soaked in some of that. I feel like he's not going to get what he did last year, but if he could get 15 or 20 steals, that is also excellent. He's surrounded by a decent lineup. I do like the Bo Bichette pickup there. And it seems like maybe this is the change of scenery did Luis Robert well. So he could be a factor there. And you've got the young guys we've talked about on the channel before. Benj, Carson Benj, is that his name?
Yep.
In the outfield. And Beatty, he's another one of those post-hype sleeper guys. So you combine some of those young guys like Alvarez with some of the older guys like Simeon that they put into that lineup. I like the Mets. I think they're going to win the division and be a good playoff team.
Okay.
I want to throw one random Met name out there real quick. More for fantasy than for cards, but Kodai Senga was untouchable last year until Pete Alonso hurt him with a terrible throw. He was untouchable again in spring training, and I am sure in your fantasy league no one drafted him. He'll have, I think, before we record again, he'll have made 2 starts. So I'm going to go on record as saying I bet those starts are going to be good.
Oh, that's dangerous.
So check in with me in a week.
That's dangerous. Yeah, Kodai's awesome. The Ghost Fork. What a great signature name that we have here. Lindor, did we talk about Lindor much in depth? I don't think we have. Francisco Lindor is really solidifying himself as like an all-time shortstop. He's only 32 with like 63 WAR. He's going to have the most home runs ever by a player at the shortstop position soon because Cal Ripken, Alex Rodriguez moved off as shortstop after they had a certain number of home runs. So Lindor will have that pretty easily. I think the record's like 350 and Lindor's like a 280 or something like that, 290. So he's close. I like Lindor. Him and Soto don't seem to get along from what it sounds like for whatever reason. So Lindor might be the problem there because he didn't get along with Jeff McNeil either. He's had some like weird headbutting stuff. I don't know.
Winning cures a lot. So I feel like if they can put it together, they'll figure out a way.
That's a very good point. Very good point. But yeah, Lindor, Soto, definitive Hall of Famers to me. I think they'll both get there. There's some other good players on the roster. I don't think we need to talk in depth too much about them. But I mean,
we'll see the young pitchers. They got Tong, McLean, those kind of guys. Yep. So we'll see how that works out.
A lot of exciting young guys. We have Marcus Semien on this roster we didn't mention, who is pretty awesome. He's like some people.
I did mention him, but man, yeah, he kind of played his way into and out of Hall of Fame consideration over a couple of seasons.
He sure did.
Yeah, he's rocking like a 300 on base percentage the last 2 years. Great defense, though.
49.5 career WAR for Marcus Semien. That's pretty crazy. He could end up with 60 if he has just 1 or 2 more big years, which is pretty crazy to say. 3 top 3 MVP finishes in his career. All right. Last team, right? We only have 1 or 2 more teams left.
2, Nationals and Marlins.
Saved the best 2 for last, didn't we? Let's talk about the Marlins. Who do you guys like on the Marlins?
I brought up Owen Casey on a video we did a few weeks ago. He's got power. He's got pop. Kyle Stowers. How do you say his last name?
I think it's Stowers, but I could be wrong.
I think it's Stowers, but he's injured right now on the 10-day IL. But both of those guys definitely have some pop in their bat.
Yep. Sandy Alcantara is awesome. Could be awesome. He was awesome. Yeah.
Yuri Perez was their guy everyone's excited about for this year to see he's healthy again. And he doesn't have a lot of early cards.
Yeah. And he's still only 23. He's a guy who could make some noise in the hobby potentially.
Yeah, 22.
Yeah, his Topps Chrome update auto is on card because he wasn't in the first Topps Chrome, and I don't think he has any Bowman Prospect autos, so it could be very interesting if he really breaks.
And Casey's another guy that we talked about before that got some more coverage in the WBC.
Yeah, he played well.
Looks good. He hasn't been overmatched so far, so he could be fun. He's, I think, 23 also, right? 24.
Somebody got mad at me after the last time I mentioned him, and they were like, "I want to buy more before he gets." just talking.
Well, you could still buy him.
He stinks. Don't buy his cards. Let that other guy do it.
Last team, we good to jump to the Nationals?
Let's go.
Or we could just skip him.
James Wood.
Yep.
James Wood was so good in the first half of last year.
Good
and
Wood.
then he was really bad, and they benched him the last little bit, so he would not get the all-time strikeout record. He didn't play the last like 3 games. So how do we feel about James Wood? Do we think that he's going to be as good as he was, or do we think he's just going to be like another Josh Bell type guy?
Ooh. His barrel rate and his bat speed are fantastic. And then everything else, this is not looking great so far.
Go to 2025. I want to see what it looks like.
Yeah, I was just going to switch it.
He's a bad defender, bad base runner.
Square up whiff and K rate. Yeah,
He's still young. He's still 23, growing into his power hitting. I think he's going to be all right. I don't know if he's going to be as good as he was at the first half of last year, but again, like we talked about with PCA, I don't think he's as bad as he showed the second half.
Isn't it amazing what defense can do for a player's longevity in Major League Baseball, though? Like PCA versus James Wood. A plus defender with an average, like a below average bat, will stay around a lot longer than like a slightly above average bat and a negative defender. It's just amazing how that works out. Jason Hayward's a good example of this. Michael Harris has kind of been an example of this. He gets opportunities because he's just so good in the outfield.
But if James Wood grows into a 40 home run a year guy, then he can be as bad as he wants.
They'll find room for him for sure. That one home run he hit was an Oppo missile, I think 110 miles an hour. So, I mean, the potential is there. Mm-hmm. Some hitting coach has to unlock there's a little thing. Whatever that little thing is, they just have to figure that out. And he'll become, a 40 home run a year guy. Like, it's there. All the talent's there. But he's just, he misses too many balls.
Brewers legend Joey Wiemer is 6 for 6 to start the season. Got on base every time. Hit a couple absolute bombs. He's always been a great home run hitter, but the problem is he just strikes out all the time. So if he could fix that, they'd have a nice little gem there in Wiemer.
And then the last one we probably should talk about is shortstop. I can see his face. Can't say his name.
CJ
Abrams. Do you guys think he has any possibility of being collected?
I don't think so.
No, not as long as he's on the Nationals. No.
It's tough because he's still only 25. He got 10 WAR for his career now. I don't know. Another guy who's speed first.
That's scary when you're speed first because that can age out fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Like I feel like they'll probably trade him this year. They seem to be rebuilding their rebuild. I was shocked to see them trade Mackenzie Gore.
Well, he's 27, so he's getting old. CJ is still 25. There,
that clock is ticking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. They may challenge the White Sox recent record of futility. Like there just isn't a lot there. I know that. Didn't they just take 2 out of 3 from the Cubs somehow? But it's a pretty thin roster. But yeah, all eyes on Wood. Like my wife watching the Summer Olympics. All eyes on Wood.
Because of the bobsledding, right? Because the bobsleds are made of wood.
Summer Olympics?
I'm trying to give her the benefit of the doubt there.
No, that's fine. No, she's comfortable with it.
That's the Winter Olympics. Okay, plus it's not wood. Thanks for watching, everybody. We appreciate it. If you enjoy our content, check out our Patreon. It's $10 a month. You can try it for 7 days for free, and you get access to 1 extra video a week. And on top of that, you get access to our Discord where you can chat with like-minded spitballers. Chris, I'm putting you on the spot. Do you have somebody's recent pickup you want to share?
Oh, I have this so well queued up. It's almost embarrassing. Jeff just brought up Joey Wiemer. So this gentleman in our Discord who told us how to say his name. I'm still struggling with it. Jeff, how do we say this one?
No Jaftra, is that it's like Jonathan backwards?
Yeah. Art of John, okay, backwards.
John
he just posted this fun Joey Wiemer card, who I believe actually Jeff is 8 for 8. I think you may have shorted him 2 hits.
I think he's counting walks in that 8 for 8.
Oh, okay. All right, fair enough.
He's 6 for 6 with 2 walks.
Yeah. But this is kind of a fun blue refractor rookie auto. There's some been really great chatter in the Discord.
He's a big Nationals fan. He's a big Dalen Lyle believer too, who's only 23 in the outfield. So maybe
that's somebody we probably should have mentioned. Yeah. Plus, I love the fact that Joey I know it's Wiemer, but he signed on his wiener, so that's kind of a funny little play on words right there.
Good one.
1 of 1. It's good.
They 1 of 1 for sure.
Okay. All right, guys. Well, thanks for watching. We appreciate it, and we'll see you in the next episode.